MacVoices is supported by iChart Magazine, putting Apple and tech news in focus. Subscribe in iTunes or find out more at iChartMag.com. I'm Chuck Joyner. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for International CES. We've got an old friend on the line this time, Mr. John Grzeskowiak of RadTech. John, once a year, it's great to see you.
Hey, but I wish I could see you more, Chuck, but we always seem to get together in January.
In January in Vegas. What's that say about us?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but nothing good, I don't think.
We're both workaholics.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So RadTech is humming along as always. This year, though, you've kind of taken a little new focus.
Well, we have. Every year sort of brings new challenges, and 2014 has been a big year for anti-glare films for us. So we've kind of really jumped into this thing, and in addition to, the typical films for phones and tablets, we've expanded into notebooks, desktop computers, televisions, and large screen displays. So that's been an area where we've invested a lot of resources, and we've developed a lot of films that I think once people see, they'll realize that they're really better than anything else you've seen before. So
I guess when you first said that, I was a little surprised. It shouldn't surprise me because there was so much controversy over the glare on the big, nice iMac screens, and so it's a product that's primed for it. I would not have thought about it on a big screen TV, and yet glare is a problem there too.
Yeah, and as you'll see here in a minute, when you move the camera and shoot this television, I think a lot of people will have a hard time getting that out of their mind, because I think everybody faces it. We sit in our living rooms, and I think most people are like me. When I want to really watch something and get a great experience, I have to close my blinds if it's daytime. I have to turn the lamps off so I don't have that glowing orb, in every scene of the movie I'm watching. And with the film, you no longer have to do that. You don't have to adjust anything. I mean, the image quality is fantastic, no glare. You're not seeing yourself reflected in the image, so yeah.
I got to ask though, how easy is it to put one of these films on a big screen TV? I mean, sometimes in the past it's been a challenge even on the phone, and on a big screen TV, wow.
Okay, that's a great question. So we've created some how-to videos to show people, and I think a lot of people could do it themselves. Our films can be installed wet or dry. We've got a nice video that shows how to do it dry. If you're installing it wet, it's very easy to do, but you have to wait at least 48 hours after you install the film before you apply power to the television, just in case you get any liquid inside. But the great thing is, people can take their televisions, they can either send them to us and we'll install it, or they can just go to their local window film, like tinting film installer. There's usually everywhere, there's guys that install tint on windows for automotive applications, and those guys understand it and they can do it really well.
I would never have thought of that. That's a perfect solution. They probably love it because they get to charge for a house call, do it real quick and easy, make a little money, and you get it done right.
In fact, we're going to start partnering with some people around the country, some installers, and we'll sort of be able to tell people, if you live here, here's the closest installer, just go there. They'll have to haul their television in most cases, but we're going to even try to see if we can get some of these guys to make house calls and do it at people's houses.
Oh, that's fantastic. That really is. Unfortunately, you are showing off another benefit of the film here, and I'll let you tell the story of what happened and why.
Right, which you'll see shortly. So the television that we prepared, we actually have a lot of monitors here, notebooks, iMacs, that we filmed half the screen so you could see the before and after. Well, our 55-inch plasma television kind of took a dive off a forklift when it was being brought out from the warehouse, but turned out to be kind of a nice thing, because one of the other benefits to having the film on the screen, especially if it's a glass screen, is if the glass shatters, the film contains the broken glass. So just so happens that this television took the brunt of the fall on the filmed side, and so you can see the whole thing is spider webbed, and the film kept everything in place. There wasn't a single shard of glass that escaped. So that could be important if you have young kids in the house that might, walk up to the TV and, bang it with one of their toys. They won't be showered with sharp shards of glass. So.
And I was telling you, my girlfriend had to tie her flat screen TV down because her cats kept jumping up on. And so, if she's not home and it gets knocked over, you don't want the glass all over the place. My solution was get rid of the cats. After I got out of the hospital.
I should also mention, this is very important, we in St. Louis, Missouri, where we're based, we have a service facility, so we repair a lot of phones and tablets. And I can tell you unequivocally that having a film on your phone or tablet significantly reduces the tendency for the glass to break if you drop it. In fact, we've replaced upwards of probably 2,000 screens. We've never had one walk in that was broken that had a film on it. But every one that we do leaves with a film. And we generally never see that customer again.
Wow, that's really interesting. That it just, I guess, gives it that little bit extra.
It does, the windshield in your automobile, and actually the side glass too, that is multiple sheets of glass sandwiched over thin sheets of PET, the same plastic that we're using for these protectors. So, that's why it's really hard to break auto glass, because it is a laminate of alternate layers of glass and plastic. So we're kind of doing the same thing here. We're putting that layer of plastic on the front, and I would say on the order of 5 times more resistant to breakage, easily.
Talk for just a second about the way you've developed the films. I'm always fascinated because RadTech is so engineering driven, and the things that a lot of us don't think about, it's just like, okay, it's a film, you got to play with it to make sure it lets the colors through but kills the glare, and there's a lot more to it than that.
There is. There are probably 10 companies in the world that manufacture anti-glare films, and a lot of films that you buy in the market, they're sort of a one film fits all ordeal. Not with us. We seek out different grades of film. We've actually had input on the manufacturing of films, and what we do is we match the grain of the film to the thickness of the glass, because that ultimately determines the image quality. So the film we're using on the iMac is not the same film we're using on a plasma television, for example, which is not the same film that we're using it for some automotive applications, like we're doing films for Tesla automobiles. They have a big, like a 17-inch, touchscreen interface for all the controls in the car, which is different than, say, a Microsoft Surface tablet. Is different than an iMac. The thickness of that glass really determines what the image quality is ultimately going to be. So we match the film to the application.
And all the other stuff that RadTech offers, all great products. I know I still have an OpTex cloth on my laptops always to keep them clean and to keep them from getting fingerprints on the glass. Your products are the things that I depend on.
Well, it's nice to hear that. That's what we try to do. That's, we're really a customer-driven company, so people tell us what problems they face, and those are the things that we address if they haven't already been addressed. We don't sort of reinvent the wheel, but where there's a need, we'll endeavor to fill that need. So,
well, let's take a quick look at some of this stuff that we've been talking about, and then we send people to
radtech.com.
As always.
Okay, so here's a 55-inch plasma television, and you can see that the left half of the television has no film, so it's like a mirror, and the right side has the film, so huge difference. In fact, you might want to back your camera up a little bit more, because mainly people are going to be watching they're going to be no closer than this. So yeah, so there you go. The left side is a mirror, the right side, it just sort of like blurs out all that reflection. So pretty easy to see what the film's doing. And if you want to get close, you'll see the shattered side there, which is shattered up pretty bad. And the film has contained all the pieces of glass. Nothing's fallen out. God knows about 400 people have pushed on this display since we've had it set up, run their fingers across it. Couldn't do that if the film wasn't in place, so yeah. Now we'll kind of go over here. Here's an Apple notebook, and same thing. Left side uncovered, right side covered. The display's off, but you can see the difference. One side's a mirror, the other side is totally usable outdoors, full sunlight. you'd be hard pressed to use this notebook outdoors in full sun without that film on the screen. And we have a lot of customers that need to do that, so this is their only option basically. Now here's an iMac that we've got a kind of a demo reel running on, and you can see that the film again is on the right. We're not impacting image quality basically at all. I mean, we're reducing brightness slightly, but your eye really doesn't even notice it. But there is no glare, there's no rainbow effect. I'm sure people have had experience with films and they've had the rainbow, and it's just not usable. We don't do that. So our films cut the glare and preserve the original image quality.
John, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Same here, Chuck. Thank you.
Every January. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Folks, we'll have more from International CES in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the Mac Voices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest Mac Voices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free Mac Voices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.